Well, thank you everyone. Firstly, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land and where we meet today. I create art, as you can see, on the ecology, geology and deep time history of natural systems. To this purpose, I developed the website sciart.com.au, which enables me to promote the perspectives of people who share with me their knowledge of the natural environments that I visit during artist residency projects that I undertake. How I could contribute to conservation efforts and environmental education, particularly in regional Australia, expanded when I was asked an unexpected question in 2017 by Noongar elder Auntie Carol Peterson, OAM, who works with the Gondwanlink organisation in the southwest of Western Australia. And her question is the question that I have for you all today. Could a national tourism trail of public artworks be established across Australia that would promote and celebrate regional conservation efforts, Indigenous culture and science? It was clear that if a network of sculptures such as these could be established, it would increase regional tourism as well as conservation and cultural awareness. But there were a lot of challenges before us. Auntie Carol and I envisaged that a design for the sculpture would need to foster community participation. It would need to feature the artworks from a range of Indigenous artists in the region, as well as nature journaling art about the region, and promote local conservation efforts and field naturalist studies. It was a lot for one sculptural design to accommodate. We knew the success of the design for the sculpture would lie in its ability to appeal to all ages and a range of interest groups. So it had to be fun to explore with a strong conservation and cultural message, whilst having a scientific basis for people who wanted to broaden their understanding of the deep time history of the region that the sculpture was individually representing. So I started working on the design in 2017, but for several years I struggled to develop a design that would fulfill so many requirements. In 2018 and 2019, I developed virtual reality models to teach the students of biology, ecology and geology at the Australian National University about deep time, the tree of life, and to help communities bring together their unique natural systems and bring them back into balance. So I called these tools Genestreams. In 2020, I had a breakthrough for the design for the sculpture when I transformed a Genestreams evolutionary tree that was using data on selected species, as well as the humans. I turned it into an outdoor gallery, which featured Aboriginal art on the outside of the sculpture, and it also featured field naturalist art focusing on ecosystems, endangered species, and their deep time shared ancestry on the inside of the sculpture. In 2021, a pilot Genestream sculpture was installed at Twin Creeks Nature Reserve in Western Australia. It was in part funded through a regional economic development grant by the Great Southern Development Commission and partly by Gondwanlink Limited and the Friends of the Porongrup. Auntie Carol invited local Indigenous artists to contribute to the external art for the sculpture, and I invited local artists as well as renowned scientific illustrator Marley Moyer to contribute to the internal art for the sculpture. The artists keep their original artworks in this project. We feature graffiti-proof digital prints of the art in the sculpture. At the opening, it was amazing to see how the sculpture brought different community groups together. Operating under the umbrella of conservation awareness, people could broaden their understanding of local Indigenous art on the outside of the sculpture and broaden their understanding of the deep time story of the region and its threatened species on the inside of the sculpture. We then worked with the Bunya People's Aboriginal Corporation to develop and install a second Genestream sculpture in the Bunya Mountains in Queensland to contribute to the Bonnie Bear Bush University, which is close to Toowoomba. Using augmented reality, viewable through a phone, we've succeeded in making the Genestream sculptures affordable to any community. We've tested our first augmented reality sculpture at Mount Magnet after the Astro Rocks Festival. And we went on, during the Astro Rocks Festival, to place a digital mural of all of the contributing artworks into the local visitors centre. This got a huge amount of feedback from people. So people were going into the visitors centre and then they were going down to see the augmented reality sculpture. So it was bringing everything together. And recently, in partnership with Geoparks WA and funded by the Australian Government's Regional Arts Fund, we've opened an augmented reality Genestream sculpture at Calabarin in Western Australia, and we're opening an augmented reality Genestream sculpture in Alice Springs in October. So through the process of engaging with many communities, scientific illustrator Marley Moyer and myself developed the Explore Nature Journaling Resource Kit, catering to a broad community of interest groups and skill levels. Its objective is to increase participation in the project and increase people's connections to nature. Our resource kit is intended to help people of all ages connecting to nature and seeing more deeply. So through this process, we hope to engage them in the important conservation efforts that are taking place around Australia. Initially established as part of Gondwana Link's Heartlands Journeys program, the Genestream Sculptures project is now being extended. Next year, with funding provided by Lottery West and in-kind support from BlueScope Steel, Vulcan and Heartway Galvanisers, we are installing the first tourism trail of Genestream sculptures across the Gondwana Link. We call this leg of the envisaged National Tourism Trail the Genestreams of Gondwana Link Trail. It will consist of 9 locations in shires in the southwest of Western Australia, along the Gondwana Link and through the Wheat Belt. This is including Kings Park in Perth and places such as Wave Rock. Here you can see footage of our first test of an interactive Genestream sculpture. It's augmented reality. Someone's viewing this through their phone. And we tried this out in 2021. We've come a long way since then. The Genestream sculptures, as a combination of both physical sculptures and augmented reality technology, are a community engagement project that has been successful in rural Australia in a whole range of different locations. We're now developing a discovery playground of many augmented reality Genestreams models for communities to engage with around the sculpture in their local parks, as well as contribute to. Because we believe that by facilitating people of all ages to share their regional conservation stories, we will increase the unique experience that visitors have at each location in the tourism trail. For example, when we launch the tourism trail, we'll be providing, in augmented reality, a wall that people can accompany their art. They can actually show their art in this interactive type of wall experience. So it's bringing a whole range of different people into the presence. When a tourist comes to see the sculpture, they're getting access to the conservation efforts of that particular community. So all age groups are participating. We see this as a great opportunity for schools for engagement, as well as citizen scientists. And in laying the foundations for this first tourism trail, we've consulted with many community groups and local governments. Our goal is to establish the National Tourism Trail of Genestream sculptures by the end of 2030. We aim to achieve this by developing a tourism trail of approximately 10 Genestream sculptures in each state and territory, which will promote each state and territory's unique ecosystems. However, we can only achieve our goal in partnership with regional communities and governments. So, our question to you here today is, would you be interested in working with us for your community to become part of the Genestream Sculptures National Tourism Trail, which, as Arnie Carroll envisaged, promotes and celebrates regional conservation efforts, Indigenous culture and science? So if the answer is yes, we'd be very interested in talking with you. Thank you.
People with a passion to care for the environment. We're all working together. And this is where race doesn't become an issue. The issue is caring for country. The issue is protecting our environment. The issue is salvaging something for our future generations. We don't own the land. We are only custodians. We can't take it with us when we leave this life. And so we need to give it back and make sure it's there for our future generations to care for.